Alright, this is the first YouTube live stream only, YouTube only live stream in a very long time. Well, actually not really, but it feels like it's been a very long time. It's only 5 minutes away until the 1.2 live stream, and I suspect that there's not going to be a Chinese developer type of presentation this time because they have the holy shit, do I even have sound on my main computer so that you guys don't have to?
I just refreshed.
Yeah, okay, the sound is fine. Nice. So we are live, and here we go for a 1.2 live stream. Thank God. I actually have not done most of the content. I feel like I've done the most recent event for the trials that get you to, what's it called? The trials that teach you how to do the stuff. I don't know what to call it. It's like, it gives you like, it makes you do like the basic stuff, like dodging and using anomaly and stuff like that. So I did that. And what else have I finished? I basically finished everything except for I finished Jane Doe's story. I finished pretty much most of the commissions, I think, at this point. But Zenless Zone Zero actually has quite a lot of content nowadays. Like, people say that there's nothing to do in the gacha games, but I feel like a lot of people who are not covering gacha games anymore say that there's not a lot to do in gacha games, but we all know that's kind of a lie. There's actually a lot to do if you're just playing gacha games all the time now.
Work.
There's actually so much to do in gacha games these days that there's actually not enough time. But the difference is that a lot of people don't want to do all the content. That's why they're not doing it anymore. Instead, they're actually just playing, Love and Deep Space. They've got Love and Deep Space now. I've noticed that quite a few content creators have actually absconded from the Genshin-like genre of games. Instead, they're just playing Love and Deep Space and having tons of fun with that. And I've got to admit, I will never play Love and Deep Space. Well, actually, maybe never say never, right? Maybe one day I will play Love and Deep Space, but it's probably not now. It's probably not in the next year or the next 2 years. I've still got so much to do in. Okay, so the reason why I started late for this live stream, it's not because I didn't want to. I'm actually reading a webcomic right now, and it's of the kind of, not gonna lie, it's of the porno kind. But this one's actually got a story. Maybe it's not a good story, but it is a story. Yikes, that sounds so bad. So I've been reading this webcomic. It's low key not even that much of a porno. It's just kind of, it actually has a story. So that's why I started late this time. And yeah, I should probably start Zenless and do my critical node before it goes. Yo, Trollmaxer, what's up? I don't know. I feel like a lot of people on my channel actually just play Genshin Impact. Like, I keep on talking about these non-Genshin games, but I feel like every time I make a video about Genshin Impact, that's when everybody shows up. I know Ager Gailey... No, Ager Gailey doesn't play Zenless. I think it's Zendao who plays Zenless. Jesus Christ, this webcomic is nuts. Okay, so the webcomic I'm reading right now is like, it's called Queen Bee, which is kind of like a porno, but at the same time, it's got this like weird shit. This story is set in like the 80s. It's set in the 80s or like early 90s South Korea, and it's the most hilarious shit ever because it's like, it's set in this school where this kid is like owned by a family that he's living with. Like, he's one of the tenants living in this place, and then he's basically being owned by the daughter of the landlord, and the landlord is basically the landlord as well as his daughter are basically gaslighting him into being, well, not really gaslighting because they have real power over him, but they're basically like forcing him to be like their butler, and it's so sad. I never expected this. Honestly, I was just reading this pornhua because, Korean comics are called manhwa, and then you've got the pornhua. One of my friends actually, back in the day, one of my friends actually asked me, like, if he could get into translation for manhwa, and I think he low-key got kind of pissed off that the only manhwas I knew were like porns. But you can't fault me if that's the only thing that I find valuable from manhwa. I'm not gonna lie, I don't read these things for the story. But this one surprisingly actually has a story. Like this kid is getting beaten up because he's getting gaslit by his landlord's daughter into like being their butler and trying to be like protecting her. Instead, she just brings him shit all the time. It's not hilarious in a funny way, but surprisingly, this porn whore actually has a story. And it's the most insane shit ever. Hopefully, future ZZ content have more non-combat segments. Dude, I know, right? I know, right? And that's what I was saying. Jesus Christ, man. All the 1.1 combat is just like, there's no... The thing about combat is that it's not just the fact that there's combat. It's like there's no context to the combat. There's actually no context. You just get commissions, and there's barely any explanation for why you're fighting. You're just going into these domains, basically, right? You're just going into domains. There's no difference between the combat in Zenless for the most part, unless they're rally commissions, and even then, there's barely any context. Like, there's no reason why. I have no idea why I'm fighting who I'm fighting. Oh shit! I have no idea who I'm fighting, why I'm fighting in the rally commissions, and most of the commissions that I'm doing. I think the events actually so far have done a pretty good job of livening things up. Like, I recently did on the last day, I believe, the event for what's it called? The event for I should really do my first critical node. The event where you get to pose as the police officers and handle a bunch of tasks. It reminded me of Papers. Do you guys know about the game Papers, Please? Papers, Please. I bet the people who made that event actually played Papers, Please, where you have to figure out like if these guys are like illegals or what their backstory is, and you're basically playing as this like immigration officer, I believe. I've never actually deeply played the game. Not gonna lie, the graphics kind of turn me off, but from what I've heard, it's pretty addictive. It's a pretty interactive experience where you're trying to figure out what's going on with these immigration papers, and that's what I felt like playing that. I know that game. Haven't played it yet. Oh, Santiago, what's up? But I should. Yeah, oh my god.
Continuing.
Yeah.
Next update featuring the demolition case that caused quite a stir. The whereabouts of our main.
Okay, I wonder if this live stream is going to be longer than the previous one, because instead of having the Chinese developers talking, they have these like Muppets. I call them Muppets, not to be like offensive or anything, but they really are just Muppets.
Well, I'm the intelligence broker with the hottest gossip on the scene, Mr. Z. As you can see, the vast open reaches of the Outer Ring play host to this update's new story, The Tour de Inferno. Speaking of the Outer Ring, I am sure you have all seen the Sons of Caledon, who operate at the fringes of New Eridu.
What is this guy supposed to be? It's a bang boo, but it's it's the wearing the nose thing,
which can handle deliveries through Holland.
Yeah.
Perhaps a few of you proxies
I
have
call them
already run
Muppets.
into some of their team. Today, we have invited two new
Yeah,
friends
last time
from
they
the
just
Sons
gave us
of
one
Caledon to
polychrome
join
code,
the
which is
program.
amazing.
Let's give a warm welcome to Caesar, the young leader of a
Like, let's be real, the reason why they separate into 3 codes for the other live streams is because they want people to stay for the live streams for as long as possible. So they get more viewers, they get more view time, and that this game gets more marketing. That's basically why they do it.
Bummer. Looks like it's all up to me.
And then
to tell
Zenless
you
just
about
says,
the
screw
new
that,
content
nobody
in this
cares.
version.
We're just gonna give you all the
Here we
polychromes
are,
right away.
I guess. Let's get things started.
But I wonder if this one is
First
gonna be
up
longer.
Is this the place?
Hey, where's Mr. Z? Oh, don't tell me he's late.
Oh, I like this.
I'm over here.
Huh? You all good, Mr. Z?
Well, you two are a little late, and I don't remember your entrance being like that in the script.
Hey, our way is much cooler.
People who say that this
Alright, guess
game
that's
is
why
like
you're
for
the
Zoomers
most
have no idea
badass
what they're
biker
talking about.
gang.
This animation
Being
style
leaders
is
in
exactly
logistics
what you
in
would
the
see
Outer
in
Ring.
like an early
Why don't we
2000s
say
to
hi
late
to the
2000s
proxies now?
cartoon.
Hey there. I'm Caesar. Happy to be on the show today.
Hey, Proxies, I'm Bernice.
I doubt Zoomers
Today,
even know
together
like
with
what this
Mr.
kind of
Z,
art style is
we're gonna walk
referencing.
you through the new content in version 1.2.
Thanks for showing up.
It's like
on
this
time,
shit. This
you
is the
two.
kind of cartoon I
Now,
would
without
see
further
on like a
ado,
Friday
let's
night
get
cartoon
started.
in Canada. I guess it's like Saturday night. Oh my
These
god.
11 rascals watching on TV.
This is like this looks like Overwatch.
Around.
Yeah, it's super creepy. Not gonna lie.
Gal, Jolly Jenny here. 30, 40, or even 50 years ago, a young man performed a miracle with diving into the flames and returning a hero.
I have no idea what she's saying.
Few minutes, new heroes will recreate the legendary Tour d'Inferno.
And it's in
The
German.
rules are simple. Whoever completes the ritual first will be crowned Overlord. The Tour d'Inferno is officially on.
Time for a formal introduction. We're the Sons of Caledon.
Okay, this is a little bit loud for
The
me.
current boss, Caesar. I won't budge.
Tell me if the sound is too loud or too low or whatever. Because this is about right for me right now. I like Caesar's beta outfit more. I like the bigger crown. Like, she still looks nice, but she had more going on. She looked like a bigger character. Bernice looks so cool here, though. Yeah, seeing her get, like, trailer animation.
Increase in ether concentration
Nice.
near Cinderglow Lake.
Oh, is that Big Daddy? Who's that?
The weak and the worthless have no place in this age.
We're gonna get our first furry female character, like, fully furry.
Order in this leaderless outer ring. A kingdom completely under my control.
Dude, that looks like the rider guy from Wuthering Waves.
I'm supposed to be here.
Leave it to me.
Caesar! Stop!
That's cool. Not to be a Wua hater, but I feel like they did the Demon Rider art style better than Wuthering Waves. In my opinion, this looks a bit better. Pokeball Hollow.
That looks incredible. It appears that the wide open wasteland of the outer ring actually has an underground side to it. And when it comes to this place, I'm sure you two are the experts. Could you please give the proxies some insight here?
I wonder what they're going to show for like endgame content, because there are leaks. Oh, this looks really good, but this just looks like Overwatch to me. This literally looks like one of the maps that you have in Overwatch 1. Like the one where you go into like yeah, oh okay, they all look the same. They all play the same, but it looks like one of those Overwatch maps.
Oil. That's right. This was the fuel resource used during the
I
old
forgot the name.
civilization.
It's just on the top of my tongue, but
People don't use
on the tip of my
etheric
tongue.
matter, but instead rely on
It's like
oil to
payload. It's some kind of
sustain
payload
itself,
map.
while also selling some off to companies in New Eridu. After the old
It's one of the
capital
payload
fell,
maps, but they're all
folks
payload
came out
maps.
here to start
So what am I
fresh,
talking about?
Escape from old memories, and of course, some just want to hide from PubSec. It's not
They
like
do
in
look
the
like
city.
Powerpuff
The
Girls,
vast
yeah.
outer ring has people peppered around as
I really like the
the
art style for
scattered
this.
So it's up to the biker gangs to get supplies.
Why do we
to
have
locals.
double
about.
subtitles?
Biker gangs are highly trusted in the
Oh, we
outer
see
ring.
her? Or no, that's not
They've
her.
also got the best intel around.
I think
You
that
wanna
that might be
survive out
Pultra. That's
here?
probably not.
You'll need 'em.
Who is that?
Nice. Sounds
Is that
to me
horse?
they're
Like
the ultimate
Bellabog horse?
messengers in the outer
From
ring.
chapter 2?
Of
That kind of looks
course.
like
And
him.
among all the biker gangs, the Sons of
I wonder if this
Caledon
is
are the
where
best
Horse went
around.
when he like absconded from his household.
Wait, we are?
Well, nevertheless, your logistics company, Leaps and Bounds, has certainly made a name for itself in the outer ring. After all, not everyone can handle the job of transporting supplies through high-risk hollows.
Yep. If you want a pro job done, just leave it up to the pros.
Ooh.
Yep. And as you might have guessed, we're called a biker gang for a reason.
I wonder if this is just going to
We
be
all
a
ride
like literally just a
motorcycles. In this
cinematic.
version
Like, are we
of
actually gonna be true?
Proxy
I would
forces
love to.
to
Oh my
experience
god!
the thrill and joy of riding
Wait,
a motorcycle.
wait, this is playable? Like, I know this is not like not going to be an open world, but holy shit!
And as
Whoa!
the baddest biker gang
You have these
around,
mini games now? That's awesome.
loads of members. Our
Wait, that's actually really cool. Whoa.
young
Yeah, this is
leader,
exactly the
Sons
thing
of
I'm talking about when it comes to like non-combat in-game content.
Hey,
I was not expecting this.
you're clearly the real.
Wait, go
star
back. I
here.
want to see Caesar again.
Nah, I'm just your average.
Yeah, this is the
intelligence.
exact same shit I was like
The
talking about with
underground
non-combat
direct
in-game. I know it's not gonna be in-game,
As for what
but
kinds of
maybe we could have
games we
multiplayer. Maybe we could have like
We're not
PvP
really
with
on
like
Liberty.
these riding games.
But it's safe to say that her drinks are famous throughout the outer ring.
Oh, that would be so cool. We could have like races and shit.
Well,
Plus, there's Piper and Lucy.
Oh, this sucks. I'm not gonna be here. I'm probably not gonna be here for the most of this.
That's right.
I'm only going to be here for the
Best truck
first week of the
driver
patch, and I'll be in
around these
Taiwan.
parts.
Shit.
And Lucy, she's our top supervisor.
Racing with other people, that'll be that's what I'm thinking.
So competitive with Caesar for some reason.
Because they're not going to do like actual combat PvP. They'll never do that.
Catch those two squaring off.
Well,
But other stuff, like they've already shown, they allow us to have like snake PvP.
don't play referee.
And the worst version of the block drilling game.
Crossfire! Don't listen to Lighter's nonsense. Speaking
Oh,
of
different
Lighter,
versions? No,
we'll
I
be
don't think that's a
meeting
different
him too.
version of the
He'll be
enemy.
facing a pretty tough opponent this time around.
I think they made it lighter look older in the cinematic. I don't know if they did something to his face.
In the outer ring.
Or maybe it's just the angle.
That's for sure.
Even though we're all part of the Motor League, we're not exactly all on the same team.
This looks like a pretty. Oh my god, Poltra! Yeah, that's. According to the leak, she's the one who's going to be playable. So that's awesome.
For example.
Yeah, she definitely looks like a playable character here. Too much animation.
Oh yeah, time to settle the score.
Yeah, they're giving her way too much.
Pompeii. Now's not the time.
Way too much animation.
Speaking of Pompeii, everyone in the outer ring's been saying.
I am super I hope that she doesn't come out until I come back to Canada. It's gonna be so sad if I'm gonna have to
One day,
not be able to
he's
play
gonna
her
have to
fully.
give up his position as Overlord.
Overlord, huh?
Who's that?
Pretty badass.
Overlord of what?
And it's
Armageddon?
not the kind of title that just anyone in the outer ring can have. The oil industry runs the old oil field out here, and the whole shebang relies on support from the Motor League. The Overlord's the strongest among the biker gangs. As the head of the Motor League, the Overlord wields their power to... What was it again?
Oh, she's a dumb character.
Didn't Lucy tell you to memorize all those lines like 1,000 times?
She's a
before
dumb
coming
one.
here?
Damn. I'm not sure if I like that archetype.
Anyways,
I hope that we just get like a smart. That's why I like Fei Xiao. I like Fei Xiao because she's smart. Well, she's not. Maybe she's not smart, but she's not dumb.
it's like super powerful. Like
Isn't she
it's all
Billy's
your
sister? Yeah.
blueberry
Billy actually has the
diluted nitro
gang's tattoo or the
Since
marker
every
or
biker wants
symbol
to be the
on his
Overlord,
back.
we had to find a way to see who's the winner.
Yeah.
So we came
Yeah,
up with the
I just
Crossfire
realized the
Motor
Sons of
Race.
Caledon
The
symbol is a
Torch
pig,
Inferno.
and you can see it on Billy's back. I noticed that a while ago, but I didn't really put two and two together.
And underhanded action.
What do you mean, cutthroat and underhanded? Whoever wins or loses is decided fair and square.
I heard there's a famous legend about the Torch Inferno in the outer ring.
Holy shit!
I
They
have
look
a
so much
feeling
older here.
Aren't as simple as they sound. Caesar and Bernice put in a ton of work to prepare for the Torch Inferno. And since I am an intelligence broker, I've kept dossiers on you two for quite a while now.
Oh, yeah? Let's see what it says about me.
Why does the bamboo know how to talk?
Hanging.
I'm pretty sure the bamboos do not talk like this. Like, is this the only bamboo who talks? What's going on?
Caesar King, the most badass rider in the outer ring.
I like their old design more. I don't like her skirt as much. She had a bigger, like, skirt dress thing going
When the
on.
enemy launches an attack, if Caesar successfully blocks it with her shield,
100% they are going to...
perfect block.
This is a
allowing her to
defensive
negate
character,
the
right?
damage and
Like, you
immediately
basically know
select
already
the
what
next
she's
move
going to
with a
do just by
special
looking at the
attack or
animations.
EX
She's a
special
defensive
attack.
character. She's probably John
If she
Lee-esque.
triggers a perfect block, defensive assist,
So,
or meets other certain
the reason why they're
requirements,
giving us a
she
defensive
applies
character
debuffs to
now is
surrounding
because they're probably going to
enemies,
release the
allowing
endgame
her squad
content
members
for
to do
the
more
survival
damage
mode
to them.
in the
Play
same
it right,
patch.
and it can be a slick way to attack and debuff at the same time.
She's defensive character. I saw the show.
When
Yeah.
Caesar is in combat, she can protect on-field squad members and boost their anti-interrupt level by providing a shield with her
Yeah.
EX special attack, chain attack, and ultimate. When
So
launching
my
forward,
really
Caesar
controversial
swings
take
her
is that
shield
I
like a
actually
strong
don't feel like there's
physical
that
battle
much of a
in
difference in
Overlord
terms of
race
enjoyability for
damage
me
damage
when it comes to like timer-based combat versus non-timer-based combat. I know this is gonna be like super shitty thing to say for a lot of people because we've all been looking forward to non-timer-based combat.
Caesar for you.
But I think the reason why we look forward to non-timer-based combat events is because we don't have that yet. But once you get that and you realize that they can just make it just as annoying as the timer-based combat, then like people will just get super annoyed as well. And it'll just become something that is like old hat, just the same way that we feel like Honkai Star Rail Endgame is old hat now.
Too hot to handle.
When in combat, Bernice alternates between her two flamethrowers.
Like we already have
and
the
take
like
her
beta
to
version
fire
of the.
continuously, while using her nimble moves to dodge
I'm
enemy
99%
attacks.
sure they
If
will
needed,
announce
Miss
something. Actually, I'm not
Bernice
sure.
also concentrate her
Because they didn't
combat
announce the inclusion of the disputed node in the last patch. It was like literally just one screen. They didn't even talk about it in 1.1.
It's worth noting that when Bernice builds up enough heat, she enters the
Oh, she's got cool animations.
In this stage,
She's like a
when Bernice's
Beyblade.
attack hits an
She's
enemy,
like,
it triggers
she's
a
literally
burst,
Jane Doe, but
dealing
like
an extra
fire
instance of
based.
fire damage. In battle,
Yeah, she's John
Bernice
Lee.
can use her EX special attack to
There are
quickly
many
burn
bamboos talk
enemies
natural
by
language
stacking up
already. I
heat
must be
to
like
trigger the
blind.
nitro fuel cocktail state. Even if you switch to another agent, the afterburn effect continues to trigger.
She's like off-field Jane Doe.
Fire anomaly buildup on
Cool.
enemies. When the decibel rating is
So
maxed
she's like
out,
a Jane Doe
Bernice
support,
holds,
kinda.
jumping into the air and raining down a storm of flames on her enemies.
Someone's here to challenge you.
I wonder if they're going to. I'm surprised they showed so much. This is what I love about Zenless Zone Zero. They always show like the future characters, like Poltra.
Sure is.
Before their
Fortunately, for the Sons
patch.
of Caledon, there was a time when Miss Bernice
We saw
worked alone.
Poltra, we saw
Now that I
Lighter,
come to think of it,
we
I've
saw
always felt
like the
Bernice
Overlord
brings
guy.
so
I'm
much
sure
energy
he's not
to
going to be
everyone
playable,
around her.
but yeah.
Carefree and
Fire
unrestrained,
Fire
like she could
Barbara.
burn away all your troubles in one go.
That's
The
one way of putting it.
flamethrowers,
Yeah, she's the perfect friend. As long as she never whips you up a meal with mixer and shaker.
If you're feeling down,
I saw
just have a
like
session.
somebody post on Discord like
You
a
will
butt
also
shot.
go on an adventure with
An
Bernice
ass
in
shot
the
of
Outer Ring,
Bernice.
during which you can discover her
But I'm not sure
power
you can
and
actually see her
optimistic
ass
side
in the
and
in-game
deepen your
model.
friendship.
I'm pretty sure it's a
Bernice has
mod.
also prepared a surprise for you.
Yo,
Leave
Giselle
it to
Brett, what's
you
up?
to find
They're still
out
confusing
what
as
it
heck to
is.
figure it out.
As for Caesar,
What's
she's the kind
confusing
of
as heck to
person
figure
who just
out?
naturally oozes leadership vibes.
That's right.
Yeah, I know,
Caesar's
right?
pretty reliable 95%
The
of
fan,
time.
not the fan art,
Whenever
but the
there's an
concept
argument,
art, the
she
splash
always
arts make
knows how to
Piper
get
look
people to
so
come
much,
around.
Come around.
so much older.
You
All of
mean
the characters look so much
violently?
older. It's the way they
And
do
what
their
about that
faces.
last
Like you
5%?
just change the way their face
Yeah,
looks like a
yeah,
little
fragile
bit, and they
stuff
suddenly
you
become like
treasure.
10 years older.
Like expensive skincare products. You better
It's
keep
the
it out of
I think
Caesar's
it,
reach.
part of the reason why
No
these
wonder
characters
Lucy
look so
Rose would
young.
have a chance
Not to
to
say that
dance.
they
You probably
aren't
deserve
young.
it.
Like there are some characters that
Girl
legitimately
Scouts
look like
has to
babies,
burn.
but I feel like if you
Looks
just
like
gave
members of the Sons
like
of
Piper or
Caledon
Lucy
get along
makeup,
pretty well.
then they would look much older.
Of course. But while we're discussing
But I don't wanna get
a
too
couple
deep
of
into that
Caledon
conversation.
members,
I
let's
personally
not
just
forget
don't give a
about our
fuck.
comrade in arms, Red Marcus.
Ah, that's right. As a member of the Sons of Caledon,
What the
you can
hell?
find Rad Marcus dressed in leather, riding a custom.
Oh
bike
my
in the
god,
back.
that's
When Rad
I'm not
Marcus
sure how to
launches
feel about
his
this
chain
enemy.
attack, it charges
What the
the
heck is
enemy on
that?
spike, steamrolling them and triggering a powerful explosion. Well, we've covered a lot of content already, but now we're finally at my favorite part.
And get
In version
content.
1.2, proxies will have a chance to recruit Caesar and Bernice
Type of
as their
conversation
agents
that's best
from
avoided,
the
to be honest.
exclusive
Yeah.
channels Ember
But it
Crown
pops up
Overlord
here and there.
And Born to Burn. In the first half of this version signal search,
Tusk of
proxies will be
Fury,
able to
W
obtain
Engine
the
channel,
limited
Dissonant
S-rank
Sonata.
Agent Caesar
Exclusive
and
channel,
S-rank
Ember
W
Crown
Engine
Overlord,
Tusks of Fury.
Caesar King, physical
Both will be
defense.
available in their respective channels.
We look forward to working with you, Phaethon.
And
Yeah, I
in
really
the
like how
second
Bernice
half,
looks.
Miss
Too bad I'm
Bernice
probably
will
not
be
gonna get
making
her.
appearance in her own signal
I
search.
feel like the meta thing to
Limited
do right now
S-rank
would
agent
be to get
Bernice
Caesar
and
King
S-rank
because like there's a
W
reason why they're
Maker
giving us
Shaker
defensive
await
character.
you.
There's no way they don't
Time
like
to
give
show
us
off your
give us a
power
reason to
move.
use her.
Of course, and as mentioned earlier,
Red
Marcus
Mocus.
will also be joining us
Bamboo.
in the new version. All right, I think it's about time for us to show the redemption code. Proxies, are you ready?
Yeah,
Consider it
it's
a
just
token
only
of
one time, right?
appreciation.
You better not
Just
split
don't
into
forget
3
to redeem
parts
it before
and
it
prolong the
expires.
stream. How longer than wait? 300, yeah it is. Toward the Inferno. Okay, that's so easy. I don't need to type that out in chat. You guys can type that out yourself. Wait, I can do that right now. Toward the Inferno. Wait, let me see. How do I redeem things again here? How do I do that? Oh, there it is. Toward the Inferno. Nice.
Apart from the exciting main storyline, there will also be many fun events that you won't want to miss in version 1.2. It all started in a diner in the Outer Ring.
Oh? Isn't this Blazewood?
That's right. During
I
the
hate that I
Overlord
can't play
Feast
this game
events,
anymore.
Proxies
Well, I'm
will
gonna hate it
take
even
on
more
commission
in-
from the mayor
wait, what
of
is this?
Blazewood and revamp an
Ooh,
old
new
diner.
area looks
Working as
sandy.
chef, you'll handle everything
Oh,
from
the
serving
NPC
guests
looks
to
nice.
cooking in the kitchen. While running the diner, Proxies
I'm
will
gonna hate
learn
it
a
even
lot
more
of
because I'm not gonna be
interesting
able to
stuff
play
about
this
the
game
Outer
for
Ring,
like
including
3
some
months,
fun
at least
stories about the
properly.
agents from the
Ah,
Sons of
it's
Caledon.
another
Also,
stacking game.
as
I remember
always,
this
Proxies
from
will get to contract
I remember
A-rank
this.
Agent Lucy.
from Honkai Star Rail.
Now
You
it's
did the
your
same thing in
turn,
Wafu.
Proxies. Brace yourselves for some classic Lady Lucy sass.
Next up, a new minigame called Bizarre Brigade will be available at Osh's Arcade.
Apparently,
As
this
far
is
as
going
I
to
know,
be like
players take on
a
the
Vampire
role of a
Survivors
little
game.
traveler in the game and fight
Yeah,
off
this is
enemies
Vampire
with the friends you meet
Survivors.
along the way.
That's right. Players can get a variety of random items during the different exploration
Genshin 2 and
stages, which will
4.5.
have a
I don't
huge
remember. There's too
impact
many
on your
patches with
fighting
Genshin
style
anymore for
and
me to
ability
remember.
to survive.
Yeah, this actually looks pretty
There'll
good.
be something new every time you play the game.
Yeah.
It's also worth mentioning that apart from
I imagine the developers
polychromes
must
by
have so much
completing
fun
the
playing,
event,
like
proxies
making
will
these
also be
things
able to
because they're
unlock
just so
more
different
new
from what they
characters
usually
in the
make.
minigame.
Like imagine having to make
In the
Genshin
event
and like
roaming the ether,
gacha game
proxies
content
will receive a
24/7.
vintage computer terminal from the old civilization.
Must be mind-numbing
that
at some
the cunning pair
point.
salvaged from Hollow Zero. Nicole reckons there's some super important info stashed inside.
Nicole's
the heck
tips
is this?
Always keep me on my
Oh, the
toes.
TVs.
I wonder
I love what they're doing with the TVs now.
Yeah,
Like
who
instead
knows?
of
It will
like
be up to
I was
the
afraid that they would
proxies
just
and find
abandon
out.
TVs
Now,
entirely,
let's
but I
switch
feel like the
things
way
up
they
and
did
head
the
back to
story in
the
Jane
narrative
Doe,
for
which
some
I did by
fun and
myself, I
casual
didn't stream it.
activities.
I feel like the way they did
There will
Jane
be
Doe's
hidden
story was
puzzles
very
at the
good.
newsstand for you to discover.
You
And the
heard
way
her
they
right,
like
Proxies.
they made the
You'll be able
TVs
to
into
join
just
the
like
Redo Tours
puzzles,
puzzle
which for
event
me
at
is
the
fine.
newsstand.
We might
And
still get
unlock
more TV
different
content
puzzles,
in like
which
the main
depict some
story.
interesting
I've seen
stories
some
about the
theories that
narrative.
said that we would get
And you'll
TVs
also
for
be
the main
able to earn
story instead
polychromes
of
and name
the
cards
side
as rewards
content.
for completing the event.
But I don't know. I feel like they're just going to
Speaking of
abandon
which,
TVs entirely for the main
141
story as well.
Convenience store is leading the way in
But I'm
selling
not.
the
I don't
neighborhood
feel
night
really sad
market,
about that.
right?
Like I said a lot about how much I like the TVs, but they're still going to be in the game just for
Only
puzzles.
one with an inside scoop.
You know it.
Anyway,
And I don't.
for
I
all
feel like the
work
way
of
they did the
proxies to
story
bring
in
this
Jane
market
Doe's
together,
story
if you
didn't
manage
waste
to
too much of my
complete the
time with like
tasks,
open world
then there will be
traversal.
some fantastic
So it's
rewards
basically
to
the same
thank
thing
you
for me.
helping out.
Ooh.
Besides this casual event, we have
Phantom
also
Hunt.
added a new series of combat commissions
Oh.
in version 1.2. So be sure
What
to
is
check those
that?
out if you're interested.
Oh my god.
Additionally, there will be some new challenges winning a notorious hunt and expert challenge for proxies to try out in the new version.
Coolio.
That's not all. We also have new drive discs coming in this update.
More
Chaos
gadgets.
and Protopunk.
More relics
Proxies
for you
can
to farm
obtain them
and waste
from
your
new
life with.
stages in routine cleanup.
Yay.
To provide proxies with a better experience, version 1.2 will have a limited time event where you can obtain double the drops. So you should be
Yay.
able to get your hands
Advanced
on the
bounty,
materials you
routine
need
cleanup.
in no time.
Oh, so
Don't
it's
forget, we've
Shield
also got
defense
other events lined up waiting for
ambush
you all to
mode.
discover that are just as cool.
I heard there'll be some fun
Huh?
new game modes in version 1.2.
That's right. A brand new game mode, Investigator Training Course, will become available in version 1.2. This mode offers 4 different courses where you can get a taste of what it's
Huh.
like to be a Hollow investigator and learn some basic and practical knowledge about Hollow exploration.
What?
Each combat course will offer buffs tailored to different
Oh, I
factions,
see.
and you
I
will
don't
even
see.
get to use agents you don't own yet to take on formidable enemies. And there's more. After unlocking the tactical course, you can assign your
the
agents to
fuck?
undergo
They're actually
continuous
teaching you how to
tactical
play the game?
exercises in simulated
Insane.
Hollow environments, earning
Absolutely
experience
insane.
along the way.
Yep. Sounds neato burrito. Now,
Neato
even
burrito.
newly recruited agents can keep up with the
That's
team's
funny.
progress.
Meanwhile, there are also some new changes coming to
Blitz
Hollow Zero.
Withering Garden.
We have already lowered the requirements for unlocking Withering Garden in version 1.1. Now, there are no more level requirements. Proxies can unlock it by completing the prerequisite stages. In version 1.2, we're introducing a new Blitz mode to Withering Garden.
What the
This
fuck?
mode allows you to dive straight into combat and rack up your weekly investigation points without having to explore the TV board. After each
Oh,
fight,
nice!
you'll earn a Resonium
No, oh my
supply
god!
several
Amazing!
Resonia of the same type.
Thank God I don't have to
Those
do it
will
2
level
times a
challenge.
week
You can
anymore.
choose different modifiers to crank
Yay.
up the difficulty. Just
Oh.
like so, you'll earn extra investigation points for
Wait,
doing
what?
so. And we have added this feature to exploration mode as
Blitz.
well. Naturally, the harder the challenge, the greater the rewards. We hope
Huh.
you will find the experience you're looking for and have a blast.
Wait, that's
love
super
this update.
nice.
After the update,
It does kind of
proxies
feel
can
kind of
check in
weird
to
though that
collect
they're just
10
removing the
encrypted
TV
master
gameplay. Not
tapes
gonna lie.
and 10 boopons.
Awesome!
10 boopons and 10
Incredible!
coupons.
I heard Mr. Z's got some exclusive intel up his sleeve about some game optimizations that you proxies have been
What? No
discussing lately.
way.
So,
Didn't hear any about
fill us in with
this.
all the deets, please, Mr. Z.
First, let's take a look at the optimization of the HDD monitor array.
I'm gonna
commonly
go
known
back
as
and see what the
TV mode.
ambush mode is for the
Now,
new Shield
for
defense
proxies who have
because that's what I
already
really care
completed
about.
and met certain criteria for commissions that include TV mode gameplay, Fairy will help you retrieve any unclaimed observation data and rewards from previous attempts if you're willing to give her some time. In other words, you only need to explore the board once to collect all.
They're
the
making
rewards.
this game so
In addition,
easy.
we
Well,
have
actually, it's just
optimized the
this is
PvP
good,
mode
but it's
to
like
make everything feels smoother.
don't
Some
collect
event
any of the
animations
rewards. I
will
wonder
go
if you can
faster,
just not
and you'll
collect
be able
any of
to
the
skip
coins,
certain parts.
and you can still
We've
get them
also
over
adjusted the
like a certain amount of
interactions
time.
for
That would be
some common
hilarious.
events,
Like you can
cutting
literally
down
just
on the
ignore
number of
everything on the
close-up
board,
scenes.
and you can still
Overall, there are
full
many improvements
full
to the
rewards.
TV board experience
Convenient.
in the new version. And you'll
Like, yeah,
definitely notice the
you could
difference.
argue that it's getting more convenient, but I think the unfortunate truth about gacha game is that a lot of the gameplay is about inconvenience.
Good news for
Like
busy
people think that gacha
Even if
games
you
have
can't
like
log in,
proper gameplay
you'll
and should
still
have
keep
more
building
like
up battery charge.
gameplay
When
that
you
is
finally
more
have some
similar
free
to
time,
real games.
you can use all
But
that
let's be honest, the
stamina
vast
you
majority of
collected.
gameplay in gacha games is farming
Next up
relics.
is a feature
That
I've
is the
been
real
looking forward
gameplay of
to for
gacha
quite
games.
some time.
It is the resource management. It's not even like fighting enemies and
We have
shit.
updated the
It's
squad
about what you pull
configuration
for. It's
system
about
to let
how many
proxies
resources you
save
have.
and use preset squads. You
And
can
it's about
jump straight
RNGs.
into combat with your preset
That's
squad
the real
right
gameplay
from
of
the
gacha.
deployment interface.
Yeah.
On top of that,
Wait, what?
you can also decide
Condense.
whether or not to bring a bangbu into battle.
Wait, templates!
We have also introduced a new feature to quickly switch squads in Shu defense.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, so the
That was in
experience is
that's been
getting
HSR
smoother
for
and
quite a while now.
smoother.
Heck yeah! No need to manually change.
But I gotta
spawns every
wait.
time.
I gotta watch this one again.
I've been looking forward to this update for a while, but I remember last time someone said something about playing as agents inside the city.
How do we get Ben through the door is what I'm
How's
wondering.
that all coming along?
If you switch to
In version
Ben, how are you
1.2,
getting him through the
proxies will
like?
get to explore new
Does he
areas
just
from the
get
perspective of
smaller?
Caesar and Bernice. But that's not all. You'll also be able to switch.
Oh,
frames
that's so
between
hot.
Rise and Bell.
No, not really. I don't really care about this to be honest, but I'm glad for the people who are there. Oh my god, look at her
And
ass.
Even though it won't be in the upcoming update,
She kind of reminds me of Shenhe in the way that she
proxies will
covers
be
her
able
ass.
to explore the city freely as any one of your agents. Also, once proxies complete a certain amount of the main storyline, starting from version 1.2, you'll be able to advance the clock as you wish.
Cool.
No longer will proxies
How is
have
this
to
not
worry
in the
about
game from the
getting
very
stuck due to
beginning? Like,
time
come-
during
like,
a
come on.
quest. And we've got even more ideas
Just show us
up our
Ben.
sleeves that are all coming along nicely.
You can-
All right. Looks like today's special program is coming
What?
to a close. But next up we have...
Wait, there's more?
You betcha. We've got a little surprise for you all at the end.
Let's get ready to rock!
Time to
Please don't
lose
be lame.
yourselves to these sick beats.
Oh, it's music. Shit.
How is everyone doing?
Please don't be lame. Oh, it's
My name
lame.
is Yi. From Sanzi Studio.
Oh, actually, this is pretty
Zone
cool.
Zero.
I like how beefy this guy is. Otherwise known as fat, but
Rather than me introducing myself, let's all get started and enjoy the music.
dude, I want his helmet.
Yeah?
We're gonna get
So,
one of those.
proxies, are you ready to enter the hollow?
Yo, what's up, Tribune?
Isn't this guy an NPC in ZZZ? I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen this guy before in the game.
Show me some energy, okay?
Where is this? Imagine if this whole venue was just Hoyoverse NPCs. I mean, Hoyoverse employees. I said NPCs, but I actually meant employees. Like they just gathered a whole bunch of Hoyoverse employees and said, 6 p.m. Friday night, we're gonna have a bang up party right in this venue, and you're gonna hear something. You're gonna be watching some ZZZ content. I think you can find this NPC in Luminous Square. And that's how they got the entire audience. It's not like they'd even sell tickets. It's literally just Hoyoverse employees. Oh, this is really cool. I like the beats. I'm not sure I would listen to this on my own, but it's... yeah. I wonder why they're showing Soldier 11. Like, is this her theme? I've got to admit, I have never noticed like an actual theme for any of the characters. I don't know why. I feel like I noticed this theme the most in Genshin Impact. That's where it feels like it's the most appropriate. But for Zenless Zone Zero and Honkai Star, I don't really notice the same Like, it doesn't feel as iconic in these games. I don't really like it, but it's okay. I love it. Maybe it's just because it feels different.
Let's go!
ZZZ concert might not be as hyped as Genshin, in my opinion, mainly for the EDM is not as impressive as a live orchestra. I do think that is going to be the case. Like, I think we all know the stereotype of like these like remix peoples, and they just kind of like the fact that they're just moving a bunch of sliders and like little nodules on like a keyboard. I think it's just kind of funny because it probably takes a shitload of skill to do it, but it just looks so ridiculous to me as somebody who is completely uninformed about this kind of stuff. It's like they're jamming to this beat, and meanwhile they're just moving a bunch of sliders and little nodules on their keyboard. Why I feel there is no people cheering. Same. Although I don't think this is one of those concerts that you would cheer at. Like, if I was watching this, what am I supposed to be doing? I feel like I would actually be like interrupting this guy if I was cheering. Not my type of music. I feel like a lot of Hoyoverse people are going to say that. I do feel like they're trying a little bit too hard with the production values. I don't really feel the production that it's like, it looks fake. I'll be honest. Like, this looks so fake. Like, it looks way too well produced for what is essentially just a remix of music that we have had in the game since 1.0. And also this one. I'm not sure about this. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the shots of the bobbin heads in the crowd.
One more time.
It's weird because I really appreciate Zenless Zone Zero's music, but at the same time, it's not stuff that I would actually listen to on my own time. But I feel like I could listen to Genshin music, or even sometimes Honkai Star Rail music on my own. Like, I would definitely 100% listen to Wildfire and the Samudratha music in the Lawfu story on my own time. But I don't think I would listen to this. It's just not my thing. The earlier stuff was more along what I like. But I'm glad that whoever is making this stuff is probably having loads of fun. I really appreciate the fact that Hoyoverse is trying to branch out and do more different things. Like, if they could absolutely 100% just stick to orchestral music, and that would be really neat, but variety is what I'm looking for at this point. I should probably talk about that in a video. I do think that the way that the gacha industry is moving nowadays, like, every single game is trying to do a little bit thing. I think the most successful games nowadays are actually the ones that provide the most difference between other titles. Yeah, the game is really good, but this conference is pretty mid to me, not gonna lie, yeah. I think going forward in the future, the games that provide the most difference with other types of games are going to be ones that succeed. That's why you see so much success from like Love and Deep Space. And I do feel like Zenless Zone Zero, before it gets going, I think 1.1 has done a lot better, but during 1.0, it did feel like this game had a bit more overlap with Wuthering Waves than I would have cared to admit. But after 1.1 and 1.2, it does feel like Zenless Zone Zero is doing more of its own thing now.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Okay, I gotta admit, the more music I'm hearing, the less I'm liking this. I like the first song. And everything else after, I was like, I like the Soldier 11 one.
Never die, so I'm alive.
This one's pretty good. Yeah, this is the Tiesto collab, I believe. Wait, is this new footage? I'm not sure if I've seen this in the actual trailer for the Tiesto music stuff. This is the type of shit that was hype as fuck when I was like 13. I do like the fact that Zenless Zone Zero makes me feel so much like I'm watching something from when I was 13 years old. I've been thinking a lot about that video. Not a lot, but I've been going back and thinking about that video of talking about why Zenless Zone Zero feels so over animated. And you know what? I think one of the reasons why I love Zenless Zone Zero so much is because it feels so much like a game I played when I was... No, it doesn't feel like a game I played when I was a kid. It feels like a game that I imagined I played when I was a kid. Like when I was playing Mega Man Legends 12, Mega Man Legends 2 when I was a kid, that was what I felt like Zenless Zone Zero was. I imagined a game that didn't really exist because like all the games were super pixelated, so I had to fill in the blanks with my imagination based on like the concept art I saw in the box art. And back then I could do that because I was a little kid. But now I can't because I'm grown up, my adult brain sucks. So I need super hype shit like Zenless Zone Zero's animations to make up for the fact that my brain is completely fucked. And I have no ability to imagine it anymore. Like, they actually make up for my mind being so boring by being so over animated that I don't have to use my brain anymore. Which sounds super awful, but it is what it is, right? I need that dopamine drip. I need that constant dopamine drip going into my head to make up for the fact that I'm boring as fuck. And my brain is no longer childhood. It's no longer in the state of childhood. This is pretty out of nowhere, lol. Yeah. Like, my brain has been completely adultified. I don't know what to do with like my childhood memories anymore. The things I imagined that were in my childhood are no longer how they actually are. And I feel like the graphical fidelity... Okay, what the fuck is this piano? The graphical fidelity of modern games is so high now. It's like everything is so semi-realistic that there is no room for my brain to make up stuff to make it more epic than it actually is. So unless something is as over animated as Zenless Zone Zero, it actually doesn't feel as cool as something that was in my childhood. Even though I know that back in my childhood, obviously the characters and like the game didn't play like Zenless Zone Zero, but that's how I imagined those games to be when I was a kid. I can still see the pixels on my phone while playing the game. Yeah, my brain is still able to enjoy 20-year-old games. Like, I can still enjoy them when I play them sometimes. Like, I think Mega Man Battle Network probably aged really well. I still play I'm playing the collection of Mega Man Battle Network right now on my Switch, and that is still enjoyable. But obviously, older games like Mega Man Legends 2 just does not look like the way I imagine it to be. And I think a lot of 3D games actually suffer from this more than 2D games. Because the early 3D stuff is obviously like the 2D stuff still exists in its own world because it doesn't compete with the 3D content that we have now. But the early 3D stuff like, you know, Twilight Princess, Mega Man Legends 2, none of that stuff even holds a candle to what we have now. And back then, I imagined them to look way better than they actually did. Especially Twilight Princess. Because Twilight Princess... Is that the... Yeah, it's Twilight Princess. I'm pretty sure it's Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess really suffered from the advancement of 3D graphics over the years. It just looks so bad now. Damn. This music is so boring, I lost like 6 viewers. This is a pretty hype boss battle too. By the way, did you hear about leaks about we can't changing server in Genshin in the future, bitch? Yeah, I don't care about it. Wait, actually, changing server would actually be really useful for me because I'm going to be in Taiwan for the next 3 months. This is what Zenless Zone Zero did to my channel. This is awful. How is there only 2 people? I know, right? Like, there's gotta be at least like 4 people here. We Radica, Tromaxer, Adriel Gailey, Giselle Brett. Okay, apparently according to YouTube, right now there's only 1 person in this chat. So like, everybody else other than We Radica, you guys are fictional. You guys actually don't exist. I'm sorry. According to my concurrent viewers count, there's only 1 person here. And I'm not sure if they count me as well. Radica is literally the only person in chat, and it's just like his 4 alts talking at the same time. Yep. And then you vanish in a poof of non-existence. Yeah, you are alone. You're so powerful, you like spawned 4 other people when you got here. Oh, now it's going back up to 7 people. Jesus Christ. Goodbye, me Kaisen. How do you guys feel about the way that Jujutsu Kaisen ended up? Because Sukuna's dead now. Spoilers, Sukuna's dead. We could have seen that coming. I've gotta say, Jujutsu Kaisen was always just like Bleach pretending to be Hunter X. Jujutsu Kaisen had so many assholes. Jesus Christ. I can't believe this manga got so popular the way it did. It just shows you just how random the world is. I would never have expected Jujutsu Kaisen to pop up the way it did. By the last 30-40 chapters, oh my god, the art got so terrible. I still believe that Jujutsu Kaisen is mid story-wise, but I really like the memes. Yeah, they are entirely carried by their memes. Jesus. I wonder if they pay people to make those memes. Like, that has to be some kind of marketing. Oh my god, this kind of... The trailer... This footage is actually pretty cool. I've never watched or read it. I only know about it because of Lobotomy and the fact that its fanbase is ungodly down bad for a battle shonen. It's a seinen. It's not a battle shonen, it's a battle seinen. But there's a very little difference in my opinion. Very, very little difference.
See you next time.
Oh, that was pretty cool. I appreciate the effort. Low-key gaslighting myself into liking it. I like the first like 10% of this. The Soldier 11 part was cool. It's 6 out of 10 for me. Yeah, for me, like the Soldier 11 part was maybe like an 8 out of 10. The rest was maybe like 5 out of 10. Yep. Okay, time to do my polls. Jesus Christ. Okay. I got through all of that. I'm gonna go rewatch it in a bit, but first I have to do some more polls to calm myself down from that. Whatever that was. By the way, I watched FMA 2003 recently. Yeah, it's obviously the better version. I'm just kidding. I actually don't think it's the better version, but it is the one I watched first. I feel like the reason why I like the original one better is because of the graphics. Like, a lot of it just has to do with the nostalgia, let's be honest. But other part of it is the first FMA, the 2003 one, definitely ended on a much more somber note. Like, the whole movie about Alphonse and Edward not really being able to even see each other anymore because they ended up in different worlds during the movie. That was so epic for me. That was like a mind-breaking moment for me. And then the FMA in 2008, I believe, it was sometime in like I don't know when it would happen. Okay, you know what? I'm actually too tired for this shit. I'm not doing Critical Note. I'll probably do it tomorrow or whenever I wake up. Thanks for tuning in. I need to rewatch this to be 41 minutes. Holy shit, that was a long one. Okay.
Lose yourself
When did the
to
music stuff?
insane
Oh my
beats.
god, the music stuff was a full like 20 minutes. Okay, let's go back and watch what the hell this is about. Okay. 141 French Fair event. When does this event stuff start? Okay, let's go back to when this event start. Not really a fan of parallel universe stuff after that, though. It's awesome thematically. You going for a Mindscape 1? I want to, but if I don't get it, I'll be pretty happy as well, because then I can get Bernice. I really like Jane Doe. Maybe not so much her art style, her playstyle. I feel like her playstyle is a bit more spammy than I thought it would be at first. Because it's kind of just like you spam your normals until you get to your your charge attack. And then you just charge attack once, and then you kind of just keep on attacking, and then every so often you switch out. It's not really that complicated. I feel like her playstyle is actually not that fun, but I like her aesthetics, and that's basically why I'm playing Zenless like 90% of the time.
During
Okay.
the Overlord's Feast event, proxies will take on a
Okay, so we're getting a casual event. This is when event stuff starts. Let's look at this really
Apart from the
carefully.
exciting main storyline,
Really
there will
carefully.
also be many fun events that you
Man,
won't
links
wanna
about
miss
Genshin
in
anime
version
is very
1.2.
depressive. Why? What? Wait, what do you mean about the Genshin anime? It hasn't even started production yet, dude. Like, they're still working on, what's it called? Demon Slayer or whatever the fuck. Kimetsu no Yaiba. I only know that anime by, like, the Japanese name. I feel like people who call it Demon Slayer are so cringe. Because that is such an off name.
It all started in a diner in the Outer Ring.
I still can't believe I started
Isn't this
reading
Blaze One?
Demon Slayer or
That's
Kimetsu no
right.
Yaiba,
During
and
the
I thought it was
Overlord's
like going to be a
Feast
horror
event,
manga.
proxies
I
will
literally
take on
thought
a
it was going to be
commission
more
from
like
the mayor of
Berserk
Blaze
than what it ended up
and
like.
revamp an old diner. Working as staff, you'll handle everything from serving guests to cooking in the kitchen.
Okay, so
While
we're getting a
running the
cooking
diner,
event, that's
proxies
nice.
will learn a lot of interesting stuff about the Outer Ring, including some fun
I
stories
really
about
like
the
this. I
agents
feel
from
like
the
I
Sons of
really like
Taladan.
the way that we just
Also,
like look at the
as a
characters
reward,
from a
proxies
profile
will
view
get
head
to
on.
contract A-rank agent Lucy.
I know that's not.
Now
I feel
it's
like
your
after
turn,
watching the
Proxy.
over animated
Brace
trailer, I
yourself
feel like
for some
there is
classic
definitely
Lady Lucy
a selection
sass.
of people
Next up, a
who
new
don't really
minigame
like the
called
visual novel
Bizarre
style
Arcade
like
will
gameplay.
be available at Osh's Arcade.
It's already 2
As
years.
far as I know,
I can't
players
believe
take
the
on the
one
role of a little
who give
traveler
me
in
more
the
information
game
is not either
and
you have
fight off
Totable or
enemies with
but
the friends
leaks.
you meet along the
Story
way.
wise, it's better to
That's
turn
right.
one's brain off.
Players can get a
The
variety
internet,
of random
interest in
items
Demon
during
Slayer is the
different
animation, yeah.
exploration stages, which will
Okay,
have a
we already
huge
saw
impact
this.
on your
But we've
fighting
seen
style
all of
and
this. But
ability to
it's
survive.
nice that we're seeing something that feels like a bit more
Sounds
long
like
term. I
there's
wonder if they
something
could
new
just
every
make up
time
a
you play
straight
the
up
game.
like a
It's also
vampire
worth mentioning that apart
vampire
from
survivor
earning
game that is on the
polychromes
same
by
level as
completing
Vampire
the
Survivor.
event,
That'd be really
proxies
nice to
will
just
also
be able to play that
unlock
game
more new
inside this
characters
game.
in the minigame. Additionally, in the event Roaming the Ether, proxies will receive a vintage computer
Okay.
terminal from the old civilization that the Cunning Hair salvaged from Hollow
So this is
Gear.
like a puzzle.
Nicole reckons there's some super important
This is the
info
TV mode
stashed
gameplay.
inside.
Nicole's gifts always keep me
That
on my
you have to
toes.
do to avoid. Yeah,
I wonder what that info
this is a
could
TV
be.
gameplay.
Yeah,
Cool.
who knows? It will be up to the proxies and Fairy to find out. Now, let's switch things up and head back to New Eridu for some fun and casual activities.
There
Okay,
will be hidden puzzles at the newsstand for you to discover.
puzzles.
You heard her right, proxies. You'll be able to join the Redo Tours puzzle event at the newsstand.
Kimetsu no Yaiba, I don't
Unlock
even
different
like
puzzles
the
which
problem I
depict
have
some
with modern
interesting
anime
stories
is that
about
I
New
feel
Eridu.
like it's either
And you'll
based
also
on
be able to
content
earn
I've already
polychromes
consumed
and
in
new
manga
cards as
form,
rewards
and I
for
like manga more than
completing
anime now because it's so much more
Speaking
convenient.
Of which, 141 convenience store is leading
Or it's
the
just
way
like
to set up a
Sakuga all the
neighborhood
time.
night market,
Or
right?
Sakuga? Kasuga? I don't know, Sakuga. I think it's called
Looks like
Sakuga,
I'm
which is
not
basically
the
like
only one
the
with an
really,
inside
really
scoop.
expensive
You
type
know
of
it.
animation
Anyway,
that
Shaw
you
will
always
work
see
with
like
proxies
clips
to bring
of.
this market
I feel
together.
like I just
If
watch
you
clips of
manage to
Sakuga
complete the
more than I
task,
actually watch
then there will
anime.
be some fantastic
That's my
rewards to
problem with
thank
modern
you for
anime.
helping out.
Like I don't really care about the
Besides
like
this
actual
casual
story
event, We have
anymore.
also added a new series of combat
Difficult
commissions.
commissions.
in
Okay,
version
let's go back. I
1.2.
missed some stuff.
So be sure to check.
You know it.
Anyway,
Okay, so
Shaw
this is going to be the Liban event, Zhao. I feel like I've already, yeah, this is the Liban event.
will work with proxies to bring this market together. If you manage to complete the tasks, then there will be some fantastic rewards to thank you for helping out.
Ooh.
Besides this casual event, we have also added a new series of
More
combat
commissions,
in
more
version
combat,
1.2.
nice.
So be sure to check those out if you're interested.
One thing I will say about the Rider enemy is that I feel like the Rider enemy in Wuthering Waves probably has more room to actually move around. But actually, the arena doesn't look too much different from the Infernal Rider in Wuwa.
Additionally,
I wonder how. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. The amount of motion and the way that it kind of slides on the ground. I was afraid that it would look too slow, but it looks pretty fine here. It does look a bit weird. The thing about these combat games is that they never really manage to simulate how fast like a vehicle is or a motorcycle. Like it kind of just looks like a glider on the ground. I really need Genshin got Demon Slayer treatment. I'm biased for Genshin, but if people say Genshin's story, or more specifically their storytelling is mid, I'm sure it'll be good, at least when it comes to animation, but story, I don't know. I really hope they do Genshin just like how they do Demon Slayer. I don't know. I feel like I don't really like Demon Slayer that much. If it's like only as good as Demon Slayer, I'll be just like, whatever. It's just good animation. Like I feel like a lot of people are just looking for good animation for Genshin Impact, but I would like it to have more like substantial storytelling. I wanted to tell a story that's just not a repeat. That's not just a repeat of, it's what we played in the game. If it's literally just a repeat, or it's something similar to a repeat, like, oh, we're following Nahida and she's looking at the memories of the traveler. Oh my god, that's so amazing. Not really. The Genshin story is starting to drag on, not gonna lie. It's starting to feel like Fairy Tail. Yikes. No, Fairy Tail story is... yeah, it is. Yeah, it is starting to feel like Fairy Tail, I'm not gonna lie. But I feel like Fairy Tail is just so... No, I still think it's better than Fairy Tail. No, I will not accept that. It's still better than Fairy Tail.
Challenges winning a notorious hunt and expert challenge for proxies to try out in the new
Ooh,
version.
we get Shadow Jane as well as other
we
enemies.
We also have new drive discs coming in this update. Chaos Jazz and Protopunk. Proxies can obtain them from new stages in routine cleanup. To provide proxies with a better experience, version 1.2 will have a limited time event where you can obtain double the drops.
Okay.
So you should be able to get your hands on the materials you need
for
in
relics
no time.
as well
Don't
as
forget, we've also got
okay, so this is the new Shiyu defense. This is called an event though, so it's not like a permanent thing. Shiyu defense ambush node. Severe ether activity fluctuations have been detected near the disputed node. A temporary defensive line has been set up. Ambush node will be available for a limited time. Limited time. All citizens are welcome to join the fight. I wonder if this is going to be the repeatable one, because it says event here. I'm not sure what this is. That's interesting. But in like a frightening way, because I wonder if they're going to take away like, I don't know.
Waiting for you all to discover that are just as
okay,
cool.
So after that is
training
this is the training event.
Proxies can unlock it by
Withering Garden. Okay, let me see. Blitz.
Difficulty. Just
what is this?
You earn extra of the same type for those who love a challenge.
Okay, go back.
Point. Garden. This mode.
Wait. I'm sorry, I have to just... All new mode. No need to explore with the monitor array. Blitz powerful enemies head on. All new Resonium refined using the Defense Forces arsenal. The Resonium Tenacity is ready for use.
In version 1.
Or that the payoff is going to be way too late, but it's like the episodic while teasing with the cool world building, and I fear that they aren't going to do anything with it. Well, here's the thing though, right? Fairy Tail doesn't have interesting world building. So it doesn't matter how long it is. It was boring from the very moment that it started. So Fairy Tail is worse. Yeah, it's better than thanks to the world building and because of the story elements that are being reused. Like, I don't understand how people like Fairy Tail. I literally walked by somebody. I remember literally walking by somebody in high school reading Fairy Tail like in like a book format while the class was going on. I literally told them, I know you like manga. I know you're a weeb. But please read something better. Please spend your time wisely. Do not waste your time on this bullshit. This is your life. It is important. You don't have to read Fairy Tail. Okay? You don't have to read Fairy Tail. People say 5-point story is 8 out of 10 at best. What makes people think that, by the way, I need more opinion? I haven't played it. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of people... Okay, so here's my theory based on what I know about Natlan's story and based on what I know that people like about Genshin Impact story. Here's the thing, right? Genshin Impact has conditioned players that still play Genshin Impact to like the story told in a very specific way. And it is told in the way that Fontaine is being told, right? And Fontaine is basically just a very, very long visual novel. It is a very... it's a mystery. All of the Hoyoverse stories ever since like Sumeru, maybe even earlier, maybe since like Inazuma, and we got tidbits of it in Liyue as well. Like ever since Liyue, going forward from Liyue to Inazuma and then to Sumeru. Sumeru was when I felt like it became the peak of mystery. Like everything in Sumeru was about mystery. It wasn't like about combat. It wasn't about like adventuring. It wasn't even about exploration. The entire main story was just about a mystery. Finding out what the Arumites, not the Arumites, but what the sages were trying to do with the energy and what's going on with like Wander and all that stuff. I feel like it worked for me because I really like the characters and I really like the way that Wander played into things. But the way that the story works in Hoyoverse games, in Sumeru, in Fontaine, in Penacony, is that you basically just get a bunch of dialogue and dialogue and dialogue for like 40 minutes to like an hour. And then at the end of it, you get a cinematic, and then you get a cinematic, you get maybe some like 10 minutes of gameplay at most. 10 minutes is probably putting it like being over generous. It's more like 5 minutes of gameplay and then like a cinematic. And that is basically what people have been conditioned to like about Genshin Impact with Hoyoverse games, with Honkai Star Rail. And Zenless Zone Zero takes that and modifies that a little bit, but for the most part, it stays the same. It's more like 10 to 15 minutes of dialogue and then some gameplay. And now it's mostly just combat gameplay now. But I suspect that Natlan is actually turning that into like something else a little bit. Like it's probably going to have a bit less of that mystery. I think it's going to be much more self-contained, visual novel with extra steps. Yes, basically. That's actually a good way of putting it. It's like all of these games are visual novel with extra steps. They do that in Wuwa too. Yeah, Wuwa is actually the biggest defender of this. Wuwa actually does that way more than even Genshin Impact. Wuwa is literally just a fucking yap fest. Like I did the 1.1 story and it was like better than 1.0. But it's literally what we had in Genshin since 1.0. It's literally just Genshin 1.0 to 1.1 to 1.2, but done worse. Like, yes, there is some exploration, there is some puzzle solving when you try to fight the Sentinel Jue, but it's nothing we haven't really ever done before in Genshin Impact, right? If you have gone to the Stone Sentinel place in Liyue, if you've done any of the water lowering, water rising gameplay mechanics, puzzle solving, you've done that, then you've probably played Wuwa. So it's like that stuff was fun when we first did it, right? And now it's become kind of a rote experience, which I feel like at some point in Genshin Impact and Hoyoverse games lifespan, they just said, no, we don't really care about that stuff anymore. Our player base doesn't care about that stuff. We're just going to give you the entire visual novel experience with very little else. It's going to be a very bare minimum experience. It's going to be minimalist. We're going to give you this visual novel style storytelling. It's going to be a lot of dialogue. It's going to be a big mystery, and it's going to have a really cool payoff at the end. But for the first like 4 hours, it's going to be a slog, guys. And you're going to expect it. You're going to like it. You're going to love it. And some of that has started to change. I feel like with the most recent stories, like when I was doing the recent Xianzhou story, it did feel like it was a little bit less yappy. The storytelling is a lot more straightforward. There's not as much mystery going on. Everything is just told you in a very much more straightforward way, even though they still like yap a little bit too much, but it's like more yapping. It's like more yapping than a traditional game, but it's less yapping than most of the most recent main stories. And I'm not sure if that's just because the Xianzhou story now is just side content, but I've also started to notice like the same thing in Natlan. From the very little I've played of it, it felt like it was less yappy as well. It felt more straightforward. There was less mystery going on, and it just felt like more of an adventure, similar to how I felt when Genshin 1.0 started, was first the thing. And I feel more like Natlan is more of an adventure now than Sumeru was for me. Like Sumeru was like a dope ass story, but I never got the sense that it was the same kind of like adventurous feeling that I had when I first started playing Genshin Impact, if that makes any sense. I really like how the tournament scene in 5.0 Archon Quest, not gonna lie, Kachina fight a random visions holder NPC is a really good step to their story. Yeah, like it's gotten a lot more cinematic. Like from what I've heard Natlan, from the leaks I've heard, from the Twitter posts I've read, it feels like Natlan is a more smaller, contained experience. I've also read leaks that Natlan is going to be smaller than Sumeru and that future regions aren't going to be as humongous as Sumeru, which I feel like is a good thing. I don't know if it's true, obviously, but it wouldn't surprise me if the new regions cost as much to make as the old regions because there's more graphical improvements now. There's more NPCs in the same like given amount of area. So obviously the graphical requirements have been raised. The area in general just looks nicer. It feels like there's more stuff going on for every inch of territory. So I don't really care that the amount of like explorable land is smaller than Sumeru. But it just feels like Genshin Impact in particular has created this fandom that it very much expects for there to be like a big mystery and for there to be a big payoff at the end. And Natlan just doesn't like the vibes that Natlan is giving me just doesn't feel like that. Like it feels like a much more straightforward tournament arc storytelling kind of thing that is going. I'm sure there's going to be some mystery. Natlan isn't that big if you look at it from a higher place. Yeah, it's not that big. They are trying to add more combat in Natlan, I guess. Yeah. I haven't even played it, by the way. Like, I literally have not played Natlan beyond, like, the first, maybe, like, I've probably done, like, 5% of the story. But from what I'm gathering, they are trying to make it more cinematic. They are trying to make it more... I feel like they're trying to make the story more digestible in smaller chunks compared to, say, Fontaine. Because I really feel like Fontaine was held back by some, like, technical issues, some graphical debt, like technical debt. The fact that I was being locked out of the main story every time I went forward one chapter was fucking ass. I had to do a fucking story quest for Linny, while I was doing the main story. That was shit. They don't have to do that anymore. And the world quests in Sumeru were just gigantic, and I think they made it smaller in Fontaine, and then now they're probably making it even more digestible in smaller chunks in Natlan, because they realize that players just don't have the time anymore. There's too many gacha games, there's too much competition, and in general, people are kind of, I feel like they might have realized that more people are getting tired of like these gigantic stories, so they're making things more digestible. Zenless Zone Zero is probably at the forefront of this. Like, when I was doing the story quest for the characters, I realized that they were split into 3 parts, and you can just stop them at any time. And then you can also stop them in between each other because they're just like natural ending points. Each of the new character story quests have like 3 parts to them, and I think that's a very smart way of giving you natural breaks to stop and like go do something else. And at the end of that, you get a hype-ass cinematic. Same with all the other story quests. So they've definitely improved on their presentation. But I feel like since Genshin Impact is like at the forefront of the Yap Fest, they might have like inadvertently like cultivated a player base that expects that type of storytelling more so than what they have been given recently. Even if Natlan might be a more better traditional like real game experience compared to the typical visual storytelling experience. By the way, did you know that about Genshin dev leaks on Reddit bench? Yeah, I've read them. Okay, let's look at this.
Point 2, we're introducing a
So those are my thoughts on Natlan before I even played it, and why some people might not like the story. I don't know why. Like, can you guys tell me why people don't like the story? I have no idea.
Blitz mode to Withering Garden. This mode allows you to dive straight into combat and rack up your weekly investigation points without having to explore the TV board. After each fight, you'll earn a Resonium surprise box with several Resonia.
Oh, so you just keep on doing fights, and then you get Resoniums. Cool.
For those who love a challenge,
what button do you press though? Okay, so
you can choose different modifiers.
Okay, so there is exploration versus blitz now. So it's literally just every single one is just, you can do blitz on every single one. I wonder if there's like a limit. Do you have to do the exploration mode first before you do blitz?
To crank up the difficulty. Just a heads up, you'll earn extra investigation points for doing so.
It's simple, I guess. I know, right? That's like literally the only criticism I've seen so far about Natlan. Like, I've seen people on Twitter say that it's literally too like simple. It's like, oh, there's not as much mystery. That is actually a criticism I've heard about Natlan. Like, it's literally too simple. Like, how is that a bad thing? I guess it just doesn't create as much hype. Because Fontaine was like, oh my god, water people. Oh my god, who is the murderer? Oh my god, you have to solve this case. Oh my god, Navia is actually born from, like, I don't know, their parents are like super secret fuzz or something. I don't know. I'm making shit up now, but it feels like Fontaine really got a big boost due to the amount of hype that went with trying to figure out what was going on. And the amount of actual drama it created, because I remember Ashikai got shit on for saying that Farina wasn't the real Archon, and people, and then she got quote retweeted by somebody else saying like, "No, you're a fucking dumbass. How dare you insult our Farina? How dare you insult our princess?" And that was hilarious. Yeah, but Natlan, I don't think Natlan has that, and I think that's a good thing. I'm kind of tired of all the mystery. I'm kind of tired of like the Penacony type of storytelling, the Fontaine Sumeru type of storytelling. And I'm glad that the most recent stories in Pyro Archon's personality is pretty normal too. Yeah. There's not as much drama. Like, oh my god, that's literally it. There's just not as much drama in Natlan. Like, do I really need to say more? People love drama. I just realized that people love drama in the video games and they love drama outside of it as well. Like, they are literally seeking drama in any way they can. I'm just glad that Natlan is trying to do something different. That's all I'm saying.
And we have added this feature to exploration mode as well. Naturally, the harder the challenge, the greater the rewards.
Wait, they've added exploration mode to this as well? What did it just say?
Naturally, the harder the challenge, the greater modifiers to crank up the difficulty. Just a heads up, you earn extra investigation points for doing so, and we have added this feature to exploration mode as well. Naturally, the harder—
Wait! Elites no longer display gold or red flash indicators when attacking? What? Oh my god. They actually did it. They just removed the parry indicators. Holy shit. They didn't do this in the past. Did they? No, I don't think they did. This was not. Oh my god, I have to check. Was that always a thing in the game? Because this is the ether. What? I don't think that was a thing. I probably shouldn't be yelling so loudly. It's like 5:34 a.m. What am I doing? Wait. I'm 99% sure that was not the case. Plus 500. Why does it say 500? Low intensity, ether activity, investigation points. Recommended disaster. This is level 60 though. And the current one is only level 50 from what I've seen. But I have to go back. This is confusing. This is Throne. What is he pressing? He's pressing Withering Garden. Right, he's pressing Withering Garden, so I'm gonna go check. Does Withering Garden currently have that ability to remove
choose different modifiers to crank up the difficulty?
Yeah, we could already do that in the past.
You earn extra investigation points for doing so.
So okay, so we get more This is good because they're giving us more reason to do the hardest difficulty, right? Because currently, if you finish Ether Activity 11 once, you never have to do it again because you've earned all of the different rewards already. The only rewards you get are one-time rewards.
We have added this.
So let me check this. Wait. No! They don't have that. Interesting. Normal and elite enemies attacks increased by 50%. Increased attack of all enemies by 50%. It's different. Because this is only level 50. You actually cannot go over this to level 60. So they have actually increased the difficulty. Yeah, they have. This is a different color too. Look. Okay, there's probably like only one person in chat who cares about this, who has actually even done this. I'm 99% sure I'm probably the only person here who has done Ether Activity 11. So you probably don't understand what I'm talking about. So Withering Garden, once you have finished the base difficulty, right? Once you finish the base difficulty, you get this thing, which is called Ether Activity. But what they've done right now is that they've changed it. I think they have like a red version now, right? So the throne is red, but the nest right now is not red. So what they've done is they've changed the difficulty. So they've raised the difficulty from, disaster. They're both disaster. This is 3, 4, 5 difficulty. It's still the same, but they've raised the level from level 50 to level 60, so the boss is going to be harder now. And they've also changed some of the modifiers, right? Normal and elite. Right now it says normal and elite enemies attack increased by 50%. Now it's just all enemies get increased by 50%. Like this was also always super weird because yeah, this is just all enemies anyways. Increase max days of all enemies by 50%, by 30%. Where does it say days? No, it just looks completely different. Like the ether activity it's all different. Increase anomaly resistance. Increase anomaly resistance. Does it say that? Huh. Bosses have 50% higher max days and recover from stun 100% faster. Increase max days of all enemies. So it just feels like gain 50% additional HP. No, it's just completely different. Well, I can't relate since I didn't play the game anymore. Yeah, so this is only basically me getting hyped up about this. At least no longer display gold or red flash indicators when attacking is insane. Because how else are you supposed to... I guess maybe there's a sound effect? Maybe you're supposed to just judge by the sound effects now, but that's insane. That is actually insane because it makes it so much harder. Because right now, the only times that... Like, the only thing that you can really realistically rely on to do your parries is by, like, judging by the parry indicators. There is, like... If you were to base your parries on what the enemies are actually doing, hell, I can't tell what the fuck is going on the screen. I can't tell. Anyways, I'm super hyped. This patch looks awesome.
Modifiers to crank up the difficulty.
Yeah.
Just a heads up, you'll earn extra investigation points for doing so.
I love this. They are giving so much
added this
modifiability
feature
to the difficulty.
exploration mode as
Insane.
well. Naturally,
Absolutely insane.
The harder the challenge, the greater the rewards. We hope you all find the experience you're looking for and have a blast.
Yeah, if they actually remove the indicators for parries, this game is at the very least as hard. You could maybe argue the intricacies of the combat is still like, you know, whatever. Like maybe it's more a little bit or a little less complex than Wuwa, whatever you want to say. But it's definitely not going to be as, you know, it's not going to be an easy walk in the park anymore. If there's no parry indicators, this game is completely different. Or at least I think so right now, based on my uneducated guess, because I can't see how I would actually parry it reliably, unless there's sound effects. They could remove the indicators, like the visual indicators, but maybe there are still sound effects. So in which case, you can still base your parries on sound effects, but I don't know if there's no sound effects as well. Holy shit, this game is completely different. Yeah.
Difficulty. Just a heads up, you'll earn extra investigation points for doing so.
Yeah, that's hype as hell.
And we have added this feature to exploration mode as well.
Okay, another thing I want to talk about is how they didn't show Ben. They showed you switching from to the other characters, but they didn't show Ben. So they only show Bernice and Caesar here, which is interesting. Because I wonder if you can only switch to certain characters in certain regions, right? Because right now they're in the desert region, which is where you get introduced to Bernice and what's her name? Caesar King. So you can switch to them here. But I wonder if you can only switch to Ben inside of the Bellabog construction site and Kaleda and all the other Bellabog characters. And then when you go to like 6th Street, then you can switch to the normal other characters. So maybe it might be region based, so they don't have to worry about the doors being too small for Ben or something like that.
From the perspective of Caesar and Bernice. But that's not all. You'll also be able to switch freely.
Damn, her
Wise
booby
and
jiggles.
Choosing for chumps.
Ooh, I don't like this. I do not like this. Why do all the female characters have a fucking rat tail? Like, Jane Doe has this, and now Caesar King has this. Does Bernice have it? She better not. I'm 99% sure Bernice does not have... No, she has twin ponytails. You cannot switch to other in 1.2. They said they will add them later.
You really can.
Oh, they actually said that? Damn. Oh, that's interesting. Kind of just more disappointing than interesting, but okay, let me see. Okay, but we're getting templates for party setups, right? What is this? Okay, let's look at backup battery, restore battery charge. So we have either battery and now we have backup battery. Backup battery is probably not condensed. Can you condense? We were gonna say something about condensing energy, but I don't see it. I think this is just reserve battery power, which is basically reserve stamina, the same thing that Honkastaro has.
Update.
That's good.
Oh,
news.
extract backup. Wait, what? Restore 60 battery
Meanwhile,
charge.
We're also releasing a backup battery charge function
Genshin treatment, lol. I guess it's that complex in coding section.
in the new update.
That's
yeah.
good news for busy people.
I don't think that this is one of the things that I feel like they didn't expect people to want this. Like I didn't want this. I didn't want to be able to like run around as these other different characters. Maybe I'm just not the target audience. I feel like I'm just like the odd one out. I am the M-Tash of the gacha game industry now, since M-Tash doesn't play gacha games anymore. I am the M-Tash now. I just don't feel connected to you guys. I feel like this is not a complaint I would have ever made. Like why would I want to run around as my characters? Like what am I, a Coomer? Yes, I am. I want it. Fine.
If you can't log in, you'll still keep building up battery charge. And when you finally have some free time,
Yeah, this is nice. Wait, quit. He doesn't really cover gacha games anymore, and he already said that he only plays those games for money anymore. So it's like, why would I even watch him? Like, I still watch him because I watch him because he's just like a fun guy to watch. More choice is always nicer. But it's obvious that he doesn't really care for gacha games. And I don't know, I just can't be bothered to like care about the opinions of people who admit that they don't like the games that they're playing. So
that you've collected.
Precisely.
is that too harsh? I don't think that's too harsh. I really feel like if you admit that you don't like, we all know that if you watch him long term, it's very obvious he doesn't enjoy the games that as he used to. He probably hasn't enjoyed gacha games since he started playing Genshin Impact, and I feel like he's more of the type of person who just likes to grind things nonstop. And it's really interesting that he likes Epic 7, because when I played that game, I actually felt like there was too much grinding in that game. Like, I am basically the casual core audience of gacha games. I like being able to have an endgame goal, but I don't actually care for reaching that endgame goal in like a time limit, in a certain amount of time. I feel like that's why I like Imaginarium Theater. Imaginarium Theater gives me a goal to work towards that I don't necessarily even have to reach. It just feels good to have a goal to work towards in the first place. And I feel like at this point for endgame content, now that Genshin is actually getting more endgame, I've realized that the most important thing for endgame content to do is to simply exist. Because gacha games are at the end of the day just gacha like character collectors. Like, we all know that they're character collectors. They have gameplay. Some gameplay is more skill oriented than others. Some gameplay is more fun than others. But at the end of the day, the most important thing for you to do in these games is to collect characters and build them. It's really all these games are at the end of the day when it comes to core gameplay loop. Not saying that there's not other stuff and that they can't improve on the end game, but like, let's be honest. The most important thing you will ever do is spend your stamina. By the way, Bench, how long do you gonna stream today? Probably not long after this. Probably another like 10-15 minutes. Imagine playing video games as a sustainable job and still complain about, yeah, like, I'm obviously not at the same level as them. Like, they've got hundreds, if not thousands of viewers. I have nobody except for you guys. You guys are awesome, but aside from you guys, I got nothing. So it's like, maybe if I have thousands of viewers, I'd also be like, I hate this game, but I'll play it because of money. I don't know, guys. Is it really worth my time? Is it really worth making hundreds, if not thousands of dollars? I don't know, guys.
Next up is a feature I've been...
It's just, I don't know. I like hearing you talk, keep going. I don't know, guys. Maybe I should stop playing video games. Maybe I should just stop making money from, spending all my time doing what everybody else wants to do in the free time. I mean, it's very taxing on my mental, guys, just streaming all day playing video games. I know that I'm trying to make a joke out of it, but it is actually quite mentally draining for you to stream all day. I will admit that. I can't do it. That's why I don't do it. Because it literally is just kind of weird trying to entertain people in chat for like 8 hours a day while you're playing video games. I have actually chosen not to stream as much simply because I do realize I like playing video games offline more than I do online most of the time. I still want face reveal, by the way. My face is actually here. Like, you can actually see my face right here. Over here somewhere. You can even see my name, which is horrible, but, I don't think you can actually search my Chinese name and find anything, to be honest. So it is what it is. But you can see a very pixelated version of my face over in yonder over here. Alrighty. So battery charge.
For quite some time.
That's pretty normal.
We have updated the squad configuration system to let proxies save
Awesome.
and use presets.
I hope they also
You can jump
optimize.
straight
I
into
hope
combat with your
they really need to optimize this game for performance issues. Hey, what do you think of Natland so far? I love it. I played Natland for like an hour, but so far I love it. I think it's probably the most interesting world design that I've seen since Sumeru. Probably I actually like Inazuma's world design, like world exploration design more than Sumeru, but I feel like Sumeru was the most awe-inspiring for me up until Natlan. Liyue is like a close third or fourth place. In terms of world exploration, I would probably rank Inazuma is probably number 2. Number 1 is Mondstadt because that was the beginning region. I know a lot of people say that Mondstadt is very basic, but I think for a beginning region, it actually did the job better than pretty much almost any other game I've ever played. I think Mondstadt is actually number 1 in terms of beginning, in terms of regions, in terms of exploration. In terms of story too, it was actually did a very good job of introducing people to the world without overloading them with information. I realized how casual, like just how casual and how general the Hoyoverse's player base after Genshin Impact was when people complained about Honkai Staro's beginning being too overloaded with different terms. Like I don't know if it's just me because I'm a very big sci-fi. I'm not a big sci-fi nerd, but I've read sci-fi books in the past, right? I've read the Three Body Problem. I've read a whole bunch of other science fiction novels. I was a very big book nerd. I would literally read books in like the library during recess time during high school. So I'm not really like a stranger to like storytelling and fiction in general. So like the fact that people would actually complain about Honkai Staro's beginning being too confusing is like just a mind-blowing moment for me. I thought you would have played Natlan Archon Quest already. You're not in Taiwan yet. No, I'm going to Taiwan in like three weeks and like 2 days. So yeah. I almost feel like they level up the storytelling complexity from Mondstadt to Fontaine, and now they're going back down again in terms of complexity with Natlan, and people are not happy with it. Like I remember somebody said in chat that one of the complaints was that it was too simple, Natlan's story. And that was also one of the complaints I saw on Twitter, and it just like blows my mind that kind of like sentiment exists. It doesn't blow my mind. I'm just surprised that would actually be something somebody says. I'll miss you like in 3.3. I'll only be gone for like 2 patches to be honest. Like at the end of the day, 3 months is literally just 2 patches, which is insane when you think about it. Like I never realized how long it took. It's not actually a long time in terms of how much time it takes them to make stuff. It's actually insane how much content they pump out within just 6 weeks, to be honest. But I used to think that 3 months was way longer. Yeah. So I think I've covered almost all the most important stuff, right? They're doing some insane things with Withering Garden. I can't believe I'm the only person who has finished Ether Activity 11 in chat. Like, damn. I can't believe they're doing this. At least no longer display gold or red flash indicators. We're getting the ability to switch to certain characters in certain places, I think. Judging by this info that we're seeing here. We're getting more commissions. We're getting a limited time ambush mode that is similar to Disputed Node. I don't know how they're going to do that. They say it's not permanent. I wonder if it's going to be repeating or whether or not they're going to make a pattern out of it. Because I definitely think that this ambush mode is meant to sell Caesar King, because Caesar King is the defensive character, and ambush mode, from what I've seen in the leaks, is also another survival mode. But it's like we already have one survival gameplay mode. So why do we need one that is just not permanent? Why not just make a repeating thing? I'm only at 9. I gave up to Leslie. 9 what? If the leaks about changing server is true, it's a big win for you. Yeah, it is a big win for me. But if I have to pay money for it, or if it's only like a one-time thing, then it's completely useless, because I don't want to change my server to Asia and then have to change it back again and not be able to. That would be horrible. They say they need to ban your account first, then they give it back. Yeah, that's awful. I hate they did not give more information for the new Inferno mode. What new Inferno mode? What is the Inferno mode? What are you talking about? Isn't it just Withering Garden? Isn't it just this thing? I don't know. I'll play it when it comes out. Shield Defense. Oh, is it called the Inferno mode? Wait, what is it even called? Can't find it. 1952. How the hell do you remember this stuff? It's called Shield Defense Ambush Node. It's not Inferno mode. Is it? Ambush node will be available for a limited time. Is this a tuner? That looks like a tuner. Yeah, we've already seen leaks for this one. So basically what it is, it's going to be a limited time event. that is going to last throughout the entire patch. So it's basically the entire patch thing. And it's going to be basically the same thing as Disputed Node, but a limited time version of it, which is interesting because I don't think they've ever done this before. This almost reminds me of the roguelike mode in Wuthering Waves, right? If you guys have played that. Because that only happens like a week or I think 2 weeks after the patch comes out. I think it's like 5 days after the patch comes out, and then it opens up. And then it's like this limited time mode that has like specific requirements for you to do and specific characters they want you to use. And then after a while it goes away. And then it's like it's permanent in that it comes back over and over again, but at the same time it's also like not permanent. Because the specific conditions that are required of you go away. Hopefully the combat modes are not too much harder. My fingers are at their limit with all the dodge spam. Yeah, I realize this is why I said that I don't actually feel like the survival modes are actually going to be that much more popular than the time trials in the long run. Because a lot of people right now are under the misconception that the survival mode can't be as fucking stupid and as fucking arbitrarily hard as the time trials. Because right now, the most difficulty that you're getting is from the enemy HPs being too high and you can't reach the amount of damage threshold. But it's not actually that much harder to just say, well, why don't we dial up the amount of attacks that the enemies do so that if you don't dodge, like is every once 0.5 seconds, then you just don't win because you get smacked in the face and you die. Like, it's not that much harder. I bet they have like some kind of dial that they can use that goes from like 0 amount of attacks to like maximum amount of attacks within the same time limit. So they could go from like, oh, the new guy with the giant fist hammer that does electroshocks. Sometimes he does only 1 attack every 10 seconds. Sometimes he does 10 attacks every 10 seconds. And then what do? You just spam dodge. And that's the entire game. Sure, you might be able to do it because if you spam dodge enough times, eventually you'll kill the thing. Even if you're at like level 1, if you just spam dodge for like 2 hours, you'll eventually be able to kill the thing. But are you actually going to be willing to do that 2-hour gameplay combat mode just to get like 60 polychromes? I think that still sucks. So you're obviously going to want to get Caesar King so that you don't have to do that anymore. Wuthering Waves, Illusive Realm, they updated it so much that it's always new while not being permanent. Yeah. So I wonder if that's what this is going to be. It's just going to be called an event, but it's just going to be a thing that we get every single patch so that it's not really an event. It's just something that we get all the time anyways. All right, I think that does it for this live stream. I've talked my ass off. It's been a lot of hype stuff, actually. They've showed a lot of interesting stuff, but at the same time, I still have a lot of questions, like how this new event is going to work. But yeah, I'm surprised there are so many people here. I averaged like 5 viewers, which is insane. Okay, anyways, this is Bench Gamer. I'm going to go to sleep or, I don't know, eat dinner. I've actually had like 3 bowls of noodles. I'm not going to be eating dinner. This is Bench Gamer signing out. I'll be seeing you guys sometimes. Bye-bye.